Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome to all my students to the biology class. Okay, today we are going to study the standard rules followed in the naming of binomial scientific name, that is binomial nomenclature. Will follow the standard methods to write the scientific name that we are going to study. In previous class we studied the nomenclature, what is nomenclature, and the identification. These are the things. Today we are going to study the scientific, how to write the scientific name. First point is the scientific name should always in a Latin language. It should be in a Latin language and it should be in italics. It should be written in italics and the word should be always Latinized. Either it may be Latinized or may be derived from the Latin word. Always in the scientific name we should use the Latin language irrespective of their origin. It may be origin in any part of the country or any part of the earth, but it should be always Latinized or in Latin language, because this rule is followed by this rule universally accepted. Here why Latin language is used? Because it is an old and dead language, so there should not be a further any changes in the language and there should not be any spelling changes in the language. So all are using Latin language and it should be written in italics. And second point is the scientific name should contain two components. That is, if you take mango as example, Mangifera indica, this is the scientific name of mango. It should contain two components and the first component is generic name which represent the genus name, and second component always, or the second word should be specific epithet. The second word should be always specific epithet that represent the species name. First word is generic name, that is genus name. Second component is, second word is specific epithet or species name. And the third point is, here if the scientific name is in handwritten, it should be underlined separately. It should be underlined separately like this. It should be underlined separately. That represent the scientific name, all, and genus name and species name will be underlined separately. If it is in typing form, it should be in italics. Sorry, it should be in it should be in italics. Mangifera indica. So that it represent a Latin language. So underline separately. If it is typing in the typing form, it should be in italics. Last point is, always the genus name first letter should be capital. Always while writing the scientific name, genus name first letter should be capital, and in species the first letter should be in small letter. Always while writing the scientific name, you should remember first letter should be capital and in species name the first letter should be in small letter. Even though it is two different names, you have to follow this rule. First letter genus, first letter capital, species It is small, or no need to write. Always the genus name first letter should be capitalized and next name should be in small letter. These are the basic rules to write the scientific name. These are the scientific name, and these rules are followed by all the biologists, and you peoples also studying the biology subject. So you are also a biologist, so you should follow these rules while writing the scientific name. And next, in addition to that, here the scientific name sometimes also contain a author name. Author is nothing but who is describing a particular species, who studied and discovered a particular species and who is describing their characteristic. So you have to write the author name at the end of the specific epithet, or after the species name you have to write the scientist name in abbreviated form. Okay, here Mangifera indica, that is mango, scientific name is identified by Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus. So after this name you have to add Lin. This you have to add. After the scientific name you have to add the scientific author name in abbreviated form. This is also followed in a scientific naming system. Okay, next we'll move to the one more concept, that is classification. Classification means anything is grouped into a convenient category. Anything is grouping into a convenient category in order to study. In order to study, you have to group the organism by taking some of the similar characters. You have to group the organism or the things so that it will be easy to study. So that grouping, we'll call it as classification. Grouping of the organism is called as classification, and each category or convenient category is produced by the classification procedure, and that category we'll call it as, scientifically call it as, or the unit of classification is call it as taxa. The unit of classification or the category is scientifically called as taxa. Taxa is plural form, taxon is singular form. Okay, here the taxa is plural form, taxon is singular form. These two are same. If the group of many categories are there, then we'll call it as taxa. If the single under the classification single category is represented as taxon. Very important. So while if you see our surrounding, I have given an example, we can clearly identify the different types of organism, that is plants, animals, insects, microorganisms we cannot see, but still we can categorize that into a separate group. Here if you take a plant, if you tell a wheat plant, you will get a clear cut picture of the wheat plant, right? If you take a rice, you will imagine the rice plant with the leaf, right, with the long leaf stem, right, like this, and their inflorescence. If you imagine rice or wheat plant, you will get a picture like this. If you imagine a cat, dog, or any cat, dog and other animals, you will get a clear cut picture. It should have ears and legs, feathers, or if you consider bird, you can see the feathers. If you consider animals, you can see the fur on the hairs on the surface of the body. These are the identified character of cats and dogs. Even in dogs, you can differentiate different types of dogs, that is Alsatians. It is a type of dog which is having a furs. more furs. For example, German Shepherd. These are all comes under the Alsatian type of dog. It is a type of dog which contains a many fur or a thick fur. That type of dog we'll call it as Alsatians, and also we can categorize Pomerians and other local breed Mudol. These are the different types of dogs we can see. Even in cat also we can see the different categories, local breeds and Persian cats. These are the different types of cats which is present within the group, which in present here the cat is a group, right? Cat is a group. Under that you can see different types. You can see different types. If you take plant, you can see a group of plants is many type of plants comes under this group. So it have further types, and also if you take other animals you can see further types. So this each category will call it as taxon. Each category will call it as taxon or taxa. This plant is one taxa, cat is group of cat is one taxa, and if you take dog it is also one taxa. Mammals, if you take mammals, all the animals will comes under the group mammals, which is also a taxa, and these are the groups. So we'll call it as taxa, and these have here if you consider cat will comes under the taxa mammalians. Always if you consider Mangifera genus, that is also one taxa. Species it is also one taxa. Always the lower taxa will come under the, or group of lower taxa will make the higher taxa, that we are going to study in later classes. So next comes the concept of systematics. Next comes the concept of systematics. Systematics, that is systematics is nothing but next we are going to study about the what is taxonomy. Based on the characteristic of organism, the organisms is based on their characterization or the characteristic, the organism is differentiated or the differentiated into different taxa. They are classified into different taxa. Here based on the characters, the organisms are classified into different taxa. They are classified into different taxa. So, and that process of classification based on the different taxa, we'll call it as taxonomy. Once again, I'll repeat the definition. Based on the characteristic, the organisms are differentiated or they are classified into different taxa, and the process of categorization or the process of classification, we'll call it as taxonomy. The study of taxonomy may be based on the different factors. We'll study one by one which are the different factors which is necessary for the taxonomy. That is, first one is, what are the important characteristics important for the study of taxonomy? First one is external structure. This is very important for the classification of the organism, for the classification into, for example, if you take a plant and animals, the external feature play a very important role. If you take a plant, you can see the leaf, roots, stem, flowers, etc. These are the external characters. If you take an animal, ear, legs, stomach, or face, eyes, these are the external characters. That is very important for the classification. Second one is internal structure. This is also very important. Internal structure of the organism is very important. How the cells are arranged, what are the organs are present. If you can take plant and animal, the internal structure will vary. The cell arrangement varies. So by this way you can easily classify the organism into different categories based on the internal structure. Third one is cell structure. Cell structure is also very important for the classification process, because you can differentiate two types of cells, three types. So usually prokaryotic, eukaryotic cells. Under eukaryotic cells you can see further two types, that is plant cell and animal cell. There is a major difference between the plant cell and animal cell, where you can see around the plant cell you can see the thick cell wall. Around the plant cell you can see a thick wall, that we'll call it as cell wall. Thick wall present around the plant cell. Okay, thick wall present around the plant cell. In animal cell there is a only single membrane around the plant cell. These are the main difference between the plant cell and animal cell. So that is also very important for the classification and evolution. So how the plants are evolved, that is also very important for the study, for the classification. How the comparative, if you compare the two organisms, how they are similar. If you compare the difference, how they are, they show different characters. That is very important for the classification. And fifth one is ecological. Ecological character. Ecological characteristics, that is also very important, because the how the the particular type of organism living in the particular area, that is also very important for the classification. For example, fish. If you take a fish, you have to make a group of fish. Only the organism living in the pond or living in a water will call it as fish, and they also have particular structure, right? These are ecological character or the ecological presence. That is also very important for the study of the living organism, for the classification of the living organism. Here in later days, in the earlier days, man is only confined with the need of the human beings. He only gave much concentration about the need. So here at that time the classification is mainly depending on his needs. Here if you consider, usually the need of the man is food, shelter and clothing. Here these are the three main basic needs of the man. Based on this, man differentiated the living organism into three different types. If you take food, he considered all the cereals, pulses. Cereals means all this wheat, rice comes under cereals, and pulses means all the seeds like green gram, horse gram. These are the hesaru, uddu, adella pulses alli bartade. Cereals andre akki, ಭತ್ತ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಪಲ್ಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಳೆಕಾಳುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಕ್ಲಾದಿಂಗ್, he considered all the fiber yielding plants. He considered all the fiber yielding plants, ಅಂದರೆ ಫೈಬರ್ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕಾಟನ್, jute, like this. Next, for shelter, he classified all the timber plants. Timber andre ದಿಮ್ಯ ಮರಗಳು, timber, bamboo. These are the important classification done based on his needs, and these are the few examples. Here the earlier days the classification is based on his needs. On later days he studied more and more about the living organism. He found out the similarities, dissimilarities and evolutionary history, and next he studied about the comparative characters. That is important for the classification. In later days he studied about this. So he improvised the classification process. So under that, one more definition is systematics. The study of organism depending on the comparative and evolutionary relationship. Here the classification of the organism based on the diversity and their comparative and evolutionary history. Based on that the organism is classified. That process we'll call it as systematics. So systematics include systematic arrangement of the organism. So here this all the classification is not a single step process, it is a stepwise process, and that steps should be arranged in a systematic process. That steps should be arranged in a systematic process, and that steps, the arrangement may be based on the diversity, how diverse the ecosystem may be, and that may be comparative and evolutionary relation between the organism. These are the important criteria for systematic arrangement. So here these concept, the entire taxonomy or naming concept is given by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus, who is called as father of taxonomy. Who is called as father of taxonomy. Very important. Carolus Linnaeus is called as the father of taxonomy, who first started the naming process, who gave all the term taxonomy, systematics, all the terms are given by Carolus Linnaeus, and this classification is done on 18th century. It is done in 18th century, long back. Now we are in 21st century. He started the classification system in 18th century. So afterwards so many changes will be there we can see in a process of classification of living organism, but the starting process will be started by Carolus Linnaeus, who is a Swedish scientist who wrote a book, Systema Naturae. Systema Naturae is a book written by Carolus Linnaeus, a book written by Carolus Linnaeus. Systema means, in Latin, systema means systematic arrangement, means systematic arrangement. Here the systema, which is derived from the Latin word which means systematic arrangement. In his book he gave complete detailed procedure of systematic arrangement of all the organism and how to classify the particular organism. That should be given in his publication, that is in his book Systema Naturae. Very important. Who is the father of taxonomy? Carolus Linnaeus is called as the father of taxonomy, who wrote the book called Systema Naturae, which includes all the systematic arrangement of the living organism and how to classify the organism. All the procedures are given in his book. Very important. Next we'll move to the one more important concept, that is taxonomic category. So one more important concept is taxonomy. taxonomic categories. Taxonomic categories. Here all the organism is based on all the arrangement, classification is based on the hierarchy system. Here the classification is not a single step process. It involves the hierarchy of steps, and each hierarchy or each step is called as category. They are arranged involves the hierarchy of steps, which involves each categories, and each category is called as ranks, or each step will call it as ranks or categories. Categories is nothing but a group in which the organism belongs to. So here they involves the hierarchy of steps, and each step will call it as a category or rank. Okay, remember the taxonomic study is not a single step process. This involves the arrangement of stepwise manner, or the hierarchy of steps. Hierarchy is nothing but a systematic arrangement. This is nothing but a systematic arrangement of the different categories. So each category is also called as ranks or taxons. Each steps or categories is called as taxon or ranks, and these categories which involved in the stepwise arrangement is called as taxonomic categories. Here the taxonomic category refers to the categories or the ranks involved in the stepwise arrangement, that involved in the classification, or the category or the group which involved in the classification of the living organism is called as taxonomic categories or taxonomic category. So that is very important term. All this term, nomenclature, binomial nomenclature, classification, identification, systematics, and this taxonomic category, and all this will come for 1 marks, very important. So next we'll move to what is taxonomic hierarchy, the arrangement of the stepwise manner, the systematic arrangement of these categories. The systematic arrangement of categories is called as taxonomic hierarchy. What is meant by taxonomic hierarchy? The systematic arrangement of the category is called as taxonomic hierarchy. Very important. Each step is very important in the classification of the living organisms. Okay. Next we'll move to how we can differentiate, how we can categorize. If you take the insect as an example, so insects, so if you take a butterfly, it is also an insect. So each butterfly contains 3 pair of jointed legs. So usually the butterfly or the insect contains 3 pair of jointed legs, and the organism containing 3 pair of jointed legs is categorized or grouped into a insect. They are categorized into a insect, and that insect group may having many types of insects. So here this is group insects. So this is a group of insect. We categorized all the insect into one group or one category or taxonomic category. So it may contain It may classified into different types of insect. It may be butterfly, then honeybees, different types of honeybees you can see. You can see mosquitoes, different types of mosquitoes. These are the further types of the insects. So this is one group. You can see many types of butterfly. This is also one group. This is also one group. This is also one group. So each represent a category, and we have to arrange these systematically. We have to arrange these things into systematically. So in order to avoid this confusion, we have to categorize this group into with a particular name and these groups into a particular name. So for that we need a different classification system. So important categories we know is the important categories is for the classification purpose is first one is species. All the similar character containing group of organism will comes under species. Closely related character, here all the organism contain a very close relation. Next, after species, the group of species will come under genus. So group of species come under the genus, and genus is one of the category, and after genus comes family. Many genus will group and form a family, and after family there is a class. So after class there is a order. So after order there is a phyla or division. And after division there is a kingdom. These are the different categories in order to, which is very important for the taxonomic study. These categories we have made in order to classify a particular type of organism. First comes species, next genus, group of species form genus, group of genus form family, group of family will form class, and group of class will form order, and group of order will form phyla or division, and group of phyla will form kingdom. It's just like a village. If you consider your area as a village, village will come under particular taluk, right? And taluk will come under district. District will come under state, and state will come under country. Country will come under continent. Right? These are the different categories based on the lands. Based on the land system, we can find a village, taluk, district, state, country, and continent. Here village contain, taluk contain many village, and district contain one or more taluks, and state contain many districts, and country contain many states, and continent contains many countries. Same way here also the classification of the organism also based on their characters, mainly based on their characters. It may be based on their similarities or it may be based on their dissimilarities. They categorized into different groups, and each category will call it as taxonomic category. Each category is called as taxonomic categories, and this systematic arrangement will call it as taxonomic hierarchy. We call it as taxonomic hierarchy. The systematic stepwise arrangement. We cannot mix this. Genus illi bardu species anna innello ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. It always the genus should come after the species. So we should know first what are the characters included in this for the systematic arrangement that comes under the taxonomic hierarchy. That is nothing but the systematic arrangement of the living organism based on their character. Here the entirely the classification system based on their characters. Characters, you know, means how they look, how they present inside, how they function, how they work. That are all the important characters of a living organism. You have studied what is character in your lower classes. So in next class we are going to study how the classification is done under species to till kingdom, and we'll study aid of the taxonomy, which is very important.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.